All right, here's a story problem that, again, we didn't have time to talk about in class, but say that your grade is maybe at a certain point and you want to see what your next test or your last test or whatever is needed to get it up to whatever grade you're desiring. So say you had, like, here, just a second, sorry, get my pen tools here. Um, Say you earned a 95% on your first exam and you were really excited. And then maybe your next test was a 72%, and your next one was, say, an 85%. I'd say in this course there's one more exam, right? There's a fourth exam, and you really, you don't know what it is because obviously you haven't taken it yet. And you want to know if you can get your grade up to, say, your goal was maybe an 87%. Your goal was to get a B plus in this course. And so you really want to know, you're worried that that 72% is really going to mess you up and that you're not going to meet your goal. All right, so how can we solve this? Well, again, remember in algebra, you do it the way you do in real life. So in real life, you would add up all of them and you would actually add in the fourth one. So you would have a score for that fourth test. In real life, you just know all four, you'd add them up and you would divide by 4. And you would make sure they, in theory, if you met your goal, they would average to 87 or maybe higher. We could maybe make this an inequality if obviously we were okay with a higher grade. We'll just set it as an equation for now. So we have these 3 scores, we have a test grade, and we want it to average to be exactly an 87. So again, now that we have it set up, we can just solve our equation. So to get rid of that fraction, which we don't like, we're going to multiply both sides by 4. All right, and so let me grab my calculator. All right, so if I take 87 times 4, we get 348. And then I'm going to add up the test points that I have so far to see how much of those points I have already earned, which would be 252. And then at this point, I just subtract to solve my equation. So if I take 348 minus my, 252, I end up getting a 96. All right, so what does that tell me? Well, that tells me probably not very likely to get the B plus because so far my grades, I've never earned that high of a grade. Is it possible? It's possible. Is it probable? Probably not. But this person would have to get a 96% on their very last exam to average at an 87% to get the B. Now, again, I could have said, that they would have been happy, obviously, with a greater grade. So I could be like, well, I'm okay if they're greater. Then that would have been an inequality. But the process of solving it would have been exactly the same. The only thing is at the end, I might have used, I might have graphed it and said, okay, here's 96, and then, shaded anything greater, or maybe used a closed circle or something there, and maybe did interval notation. But otherwise, the process is the same. I have 3 tests I know, 1 I don't. That's my variable. Add them up, divide by 4 to get the average. And then if it's an equation, just set it equal to 87, solve to figure out what that magic grade is.